Welcome back. Now, Russia-Namibia cultural ties keep strengthening as a festival of Russian language and culture was held at the IUM Independence Campus in Windhoek with the support of the Ministry of Education of Russian Federation together with the foundation My History. Now, the festival was held from the 28th of October to 4th November 2024, allowed participants to get acquainted with the Russian culture. Now, to shed more light on this topic, we are joined by Professor Maya Alexandrovna, who will enlighten us this morning. Good morning, Professor, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
No, it's our pleasure to host you. Let's talk about what is the main vision behind bringing that is a festival of Russian language and culture to Namibia.
Thank you for the question. Let me explain. I think, first of all, we need to build models of cooperation, of co-creation, of scientists and practitioners from a different cultural and educational contexts, spheres. Economic and political relations between Namibia and Africa are characterized as promising. I believe acquaintance of the citizens of Russia and Namibia with each other's original culture and unique history, with traditions and language, would make the cooperation more effective. Thus, the focus of our attention to create such platforms for systematic and constant discussion, cooperation, collaboration. And one of such platforms is the launch of the Center for Open Education, which started in Namibia this year and now delivers courses of Russian as a foreign language. But of course, cultural events may stimulate interest of people to the language. This is what the idea of festival is.
Okay. Now let's talk about all these things that you're talking about that led to open education in 2024 now. How did this cooperation between the Ministry of Education of the Russian Federation and the Foundation My History come about in terms of the festival? Where did it all begin?
Okay, let me explain. There are two ministries of education in Russia.
Okay.
The Ministry of Science and Higher Education and the Ministry of Education. All pedagogical universities in Russia are state universities, and all of them belong to Ministry of Education. So the Ministry of Education introduced the project of Centers for Open Education in Russian to pedagogical universities and provides all the support to the universities in launching such centers. And education at these centers are free and open for everyone wishing studies Russian language. That is
okay. In terms of the festival that took place from the 28th to the 4th of November at the IUM Independence Campus in Windhoek, what stood out for you the most? What was the highlight of the What was the highlight of the festival?
Yes, I see. Of course. In fact, from my point of view, there were a lot of unforgettable moments at the festival, both for participants and for us, the organizers. It was interesting to see how adults, working people take part in Russian traditional activities. For example, how they dance Russian folk dances, how they sing Russian folk songs, how they decorate a kokoshnik. It's folk, very interesting headdress, kokoshnik. How they sew a bear as a symbol of our region. How they cook pelmeni. It's a very special traditional Russian food as well. And this is after their working day. You see, it was nice to see that people were excited and really enjoying what was happening. It was very nice to see that people of various professions took part in festivals. Students, teachers, policemen, representatives of ministers and departments, and of course, for me, it was very joyful to see kids, children who came to us.
Okay. Now, I see these are some of the elements that were showcased at the festival, the different attires, the different Russian experiences, being the food that you cook. Let's talk about how events like this, from your point of view, you believe strengthen cultural ties between the people of Russia and the people of Namibia.
Yes, thank you for the question. As I have said, the activities were different. Music, dance, art, crafts, culinary. I'm deeply convinced that it's impossible to study language, in our case Russian, without connection with culture. For example, at one of our events within the festival, at the masterclass dedicated to pelmeni, once again it's Russian traditional food, after tasting of pelmeni, of course I told the participants about the traditional etiquette formulas with which we can express our attitude to the dish, how to explain your feelings, how you can say in Russian, that is delicious, это вкусно. And so it was at all our events we introduce, like a communicative aspect in all our activities. And I really very hope that participants liked the project. And honestly, I cannot single out any one event, because there was amazing feedback after each our event.
Okay. So this is all part of cultural diplomacy between the people of the Russian Federation, the people of the Republic of Namibia. And maybe let's talk about, the role of the Russian language in fostering, mutual understanding and also strengthening bilateral relations between our two nations, which we know go back as further as the war and liberation struggle for Namibia.
Honestly, of course, I'm not ready to answer this question. I will explain why. I would like probably be more correct to address it to representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russian Federation. But as a lecturer, I can say about the benefits and necessity of such events held in parallel with language education. And of course, I'm ready to say that IUM, International University of Management, is, I think, a leader in a provider of a Russian language in Namibia.
Okay, indeed. Now, as we conclude our conversation this morning, let's talk about what do you envision to be the future of the Russian-Namibian cultural ties, particularly in terms of language and the possibility of academic exchanges?
Yes, you know, I think that our future is in collaboration. We are ready to share, you see, the most valuable thing, knowledge of language and culture. So, thanks to knowledge of Russian language, Namibians can build a relationship in different spheres of Russian business with representatives of culture, medicine, and so on. So I believe that we are on the right way and direction.
We're on the right path. Well, Professor, thank you very much for making time to speak to us this morning. I hope that you are enjoying your stay in Namibia.
Of course.
Okay, so that's great. We are great to hear that. Now, that was Professor Maya Alexandrovna, who is a professor who was talking to us about the Russian-Namibia cultural ties that keep strengthening as a festival of Russia language and culture was held at the IUM Independence Campus in Windhoek with the support of the Ministry of Education of the Russian Federation together with the foundation My History. Now, the festival took place between the 28th to the 4th of November 2024, which allowed participants to get acquainted with Russian culture, Russian food, Russian history. This is all part of cultural diplomacy, collaboration, and bilateral relationships between our two nations, which she indicated hopes that it gets to grow and that it can only happen through collaboration. Now, stay tuned. GMN returns shortly after this break.